welcome. Thank you for joining in once again. This week we're left with two contestants on the Survivor. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for hello there.
Yeah.
Episode 89 of the Drunk Doctor Who podcast, where we have jumped in our TARDISes. TARDI. Is TARDI the plural for TARDIS? TARDISes. We've traveled back in time and we've watched the 89th serial of Doctor Who. That makes sense.
The Face of Evil.
Acronym. The Face of Evil. Where the Doctor plays his own antagonist. Spoiler?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's the closest we get to a later Doctor to the first and second Doctors playing the antagonists in their serial.
I mean, even Hartnell played his own antagonist.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The first and second.
Twice.
Yeah.
He played the doppelganger and the Dalek's android of himself.
No. Not the doppelganger. Well, the doppelganger, when he played the priest dude.
Yeah.
The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, yeah.
Who was a bad guy, right? Was the priest guy? Yeah, so he played his villain at least twice.
Right, and then Troughton played Salamander.
And Troughton played his... So, I don't think Pertwee ever played himself, did he?
No.
So we're going back... We're returning to an old sci-fi trope.
It's kind of not exactly, but yeah.
Right. Tale of Two... No. What's the one where they... The twin... Not the parent swap, but the...
The Parent Trap?
Yeah, the Parent Trap, but like... The old one, with the rich boy and the poor boy.
The Prince and the Pauper.
Prince and the Pauper, that one.
Okay.
They're not related, they just happen to look exactly alike, which is... Exactly. Do you think people ever just run out of genetic differences? Are there ever two people alive at the same time that look exactly similar?
I'm sure there are. Alright.
I was looking at Leela and I'm like, she looks familiar. Cheers. Where are we drinking today, Heather?
I'm drinking Screwdriver. And
I'm drinking... Sponsored by?
No, not sponsored by anybody.
Not sponsored by. Generic hard apple cider.
Speaking of which, I think I have 33 of our episodes up now on Rumble.
Oh.
I just keep putting them up when I'm bored at night. It uploads in the background.
Once we get enough viewers, we're not allowed to show brands. So we're gonna... This is a generic apple cider that I'm drinking. You'll have to put a piece of tape over your fleur-de-lis. I guess that's not trademark, right? That's public domain, right?
Yeah, fleur-de-lis is classic. Alright. Okay, anyway.
Companions.
Won't you be my neighbor? Alright. Okay.
What?
Take
off the shoes.
First time you made that joke? I think it may be, actually. We're only 89 episodes in. Okay, so...
That was great.
Alright, anyway, so...
Leela.
Yep, our companion is Leela, a brand new companion. This is her first serial. She's the young lady here, she gets called Savage a lot, but she's just a bit of a warrior race. Although, it turns out she's human.
Yes.
That makes sense. She's an alien from another planet, but her origins of her species are human. Anyway, so she's actually... She's the first real super fighter woman that we've had.
Isn't alien kind of a blatant term? Like just
somebody from another planet.
Someone who's not me.
Not
us.
You get down far enough. Not us is the definition of alien. Okay, so anyway,
I hate Gentiles.
You are a Gentile.
I am a Gentile.
Okay,
that's my favorite joke.
All right.
It sounds really racist.
It is bad. All right. So anyway, Leela, careful. All right. This is her first serial. She sticks around for a while, for a couple of seasons. Like I said, this is pretty much, I think, the first true warrior female we have on the show.
Gone for days.
Yeah,
you know what they say? I like a girl with long jackets.
Alright, anyway. But yeah, later on we get Ace, and she's a good warrior female. But Leela's definitely the first.
Ace is the one with the baseball bat I haven't met yet.
Yeah, she's on the baseball bat you haven't met yet.
I think you're right. We've only had male brawlers, I guess you could say.
Until Leela. Mm-hmm.
I like them.
Jamie was a brawler. Ian, when necessary, was a brawler.
Steven,
when necessary, was a brawler.
One more we're forgetting. After Ian, before Steven. No, after Steven. The sailor, who was the Navy boy.
Oh, you're thinking Ben. Ben and Polly. You're right, he was a brawler too, yeah. In fact, he was a bit too much of a brawler. Not a whole ton of brains about him, but yeah, he'd fight.
Soldier-minded.
Yeah, very much so. And then, of course, all of Unit. You know?
Oh, they're brawlers, yeah.
Alright, so anyway. The Doctor in the last serial has just left Gallifrey. He shows up on random planet. We don't know what planet it is, but it's very, very jungle-ish.
We don't know what planet it is. It's weird. It's kind of like barnacle-y sea life thing. You get the vibe that it's like post-apocalyptic, like Mad Max. You have this futuristic tunneling tubing, and then like old, cave savages and cavemen in leather armor. It's like, is this the future? Is this the past?
Doctor's not exactly.
He plays his own. It's his. Not exactly. It's his own consciousness that he's fighting against.
But that should be.
You're always making excuses
Tesh.
for the Doctor.
That should be Tesh.
Okay, we can add Tesh and Jabel if you want, or Lugo. It would just go on.
Tesh, just put Tesh. And then,
William
Tell is not a companion. He just gets mentioned.
Well, he taught the Doctor how to shoot. He wouldn't have it.
Yeah, in a different serial. Well, in no serial.
So if I add Tesh, I also have to add the 17 tribe.
No, just Tesh.
Well, the 17 were also bad guys. Alright. Technicians. Tesh.
Pink. Alright.
Should I write a... Alright, I'm leaving it there.
Alright. Okay. So anyway, this serial is right there, that hole at the end of the third shelf. We're finishing the third shelf. And then there on the fifth shelf is where the main group is.
Who's that? Do they know who they is? I know
where the main group is.
Do they know what the main group is? Have we ever explained the main group?
Yeah. The group I've been watching Doctor Who with for the last almost 11 years.
They should also have a podcast.
No, this is because we didn't start a podcast with them all those days ago. No. Okay.
By the way, that's who they are.
Alright, so we're catching up to the main group. Myself, Beard, yada yada. But anyway, so that's right there.
You say that because those are the ones who watch the podcast sometimes?
It's always Beard and myself. No. The people who are in the main group.
Right. Do you make a point of pointing that out because they sometimes watch these podcasts, or just
no? I don't
for
think so.
the anonymous viewers' context.
For the anonymous viewers, because we've been slowly but surely catching up to the main group, and eventually we'll be passing up the main group, and then you can come in on Sunday nights.
This is something that the audience is invested on, which is why we keep them.
Well, maybe not. What audience? What are you talking about?
What audience?
Welcome to the least watched show on the internet. All right. Anyway, but. Check it out. Lissa, where she stopped, she's watching it with us.
Do they know?
Yes, stop that. We've talked about
I've always thought of the podcast in a first-person experience of my conversation with you. I've never really thought about the person.
And now you're thinking about the viewers,
yeah. Like, do they have any context to what I talk about?
Yes, we've explained this. If you're coming in, oh god, no. I hate it when books do that. You get to the sequel to a book and you have to explain everything that happened in the first book. No, I just read the first friggin' book.
The
Don't
TV
do that.
show, which like the first is like last time, and the last of the episode is next time.
Yeah,
the big
no, just
there's that much content in that.
Yeah, I'm just binge watching this. I don't need 5 minutes of recap. All right,
join us next time.
No. Okay, so anyway, we're right there. We're on the fourth Doctor. At the end of the third shelf, right? Lissa's towards the end of the fourth Doctor, and the main group is on the fifth Doctor, but we're catching up. So, although yeah,
when we get to him, I'm a staple piece of celery to my...
You'll have to change it up every so often.
I'm gonna cosplay as the doctors.
But anyway, so
I was supposed to wear a scarf when we got to Baker, but I never did.
Yeah, well, you still could.
I have a scarf. Next time.
Okay, but anyway, so for the first time in 2 months, the main group met last night.
Hey!
And we finished up Maldron Undead. So now we're on Arc
was
of
it?
Infinity. It was good. It's really weird cereal.
So was this one? Have we explained why we're catching up to the main group? Because of the
Yes, we
viewer-
have.
Okay. There's probably been 89 episodes since.
Okay, so I watched our previous podcast last night, right?
Yes.
And in it,
I haven't watched that one yet.
okay,
I'm all caught up on Heroes and Villains.
oh, there you go. I'm explaining to you the difference between England,
And-
Britain.
That's not the first time we've
No,
had
it's
that
not the first time
conversation.
we've had that conversation. And I'm like, dude, how many times do I have to explain this to you?
I wasn't explaining. I was making a point, and then you took that point to explain it to me.
Literally.
I was saying the average person doesn't know that, and then you said, "Well, let me explain it again."
Dude, we've gone over this.
Mm.
Alright, anyway, so the doctor lands on this planet and he starts wandering around. In the meantime, before the doctor shows up,
You don't take your screwdrivers pulp free,
no,
or is that just coagulation from the vodka?
no, it's pulp.
You like pulp? You get extra vitamins that way. You just like the texture of something chunky.
I bought what they had at the grocery store.
Like you prefer crunchy peanut butter over smooth because of the texture. Yep.
I don't know. Ever since I've eaten peanut butter.
I like something to crunch on. I had these veggie straws, and I'll put the veggie straws in my sandwich just to give it some crunch. You ever put you ever go to McAllister's and order a club sandwich, and they cut it like that, and they put the chips, and then you put a few chips in the sandwich just to give it a crunch?
No.
No,
I
never.
don't like
Just me.
McAllister's.
You don't like McAllister's?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I love their orange cranberry.
No, go to Subway. So much better.
I do go to Subway too. I'll get their... They used to have this $5 special, and they stopped doing that because I ordered it too much, and they said, we don't do that anymore. I said...
Now it's like a $7 special.
Like, you have to pay
Inflation.
full price.
You know, what are you going to do? Alright,
But specifically because I ordered it so often for lunch. They said, this guy, we're gonna end it.
I'm gonna go broke. Alright, anyway.
Do you know they're 12 inches or 11 inches? That's false advertising. If Red Bull can get sued for saying it gives you wings, I don't know why they haven't gotten sued for false advertising of the 12-inch sub when it's really 11 inches.
You know, a 2x4 is 1.5 by 3.5.
Honestly, right? Why? The toilet paper rolls are getting smaller. We as consumers are getting screwed. Wake up, sheeple. So, first episode, the Doctor arrives on his TARDIS on a strange unknown planet. It seems kind of, there's technology. You see these air conditioner tubes. We don't know what they go to.
I think those are supposed to be trees.
Or are they using the
I think they're supposed to be
heating
trees.
cooling piping? I thought that was
Yeah,
supposed to be like remnants of the long past technology, like
No.
the computer.
Anyway, so there's a jungle. There's a savage tribe.
So I've been saying for 3 years now, I want to see the savages again. We're back to the cavemen.
Not exactly.
Not exactly, but we're back to the savage.
Okay, so it turns out there's a tribe of warriors, and one of the warriors, the only female one we see, or at least I saw, is being kicked out of the tribe, being excommunicated because she doesn't want to go...
Heresy.
Yeah, heresy. Blasphemy. She doesn't want to go through with an attack on
She says
Zohan.
Zohan. Is it AAN or ANN? I don't know if I spelled it right.
I think you have 120 A's in there.
So is ANN. Zoan and Nen.
I think
Oh,
so.
like Canaan. Yeah, I think it is AAN. And Canaan, what was it? So, Zoanan is their god that they follow, and she is convicted of heresy because she says that Zoanan is their, causing them harm. We shouldn't listen to Zohan. Does it say?
No. Zohan's not named on here.
Kanan has 2 N's at the end.
2 A's.
2 A's. 3 total. Like Zohan is 3 total.
Probably.
I found out something new. So you know the Jebus, Jebus, which is an irreverent term for people sarcastically taking, misspelling Jesus on purpose.
I think it comes from The Simpsons.
The Simpsons, exactly. Jebus Lorenzo. But Jebus is actually in the Bible. Did you know that? That was Jebusites lived in Jebus. It was the city right around Jerusalem before Jerusalem was.
I think
it's
right.
mentioned in the Old Testament. I thought that was funny how it's like an irreverent term, but it's an actual biblical term. Like that's in the Bible, but okay. So she's being
kicked out of the tribe.
She's sentenced to exile, which is death, because if you're exiled from their safety circle, like in SpongeBob SquarePants, when you draw the circle in the sand for
no, I know
shark bears.
Yeah,
in the special underwear. She's exiled outside of the safety circle to where she'll be eaten by invisible monsters. So unless she takes the trial of the Hoarder, and she's like, no thanks, I'll rather be exiled. And they're like, is anyone going to do trial by combat, the trial of the Hoarder for her? And everyone's like, no thanks.
Her father steps up.
Her dad's like, I'll do it. And she's like...
He looks like he's like an old 55, like William Hartnell-esque 55.
Yeah, old, worn out. And she's like, don't do that. You don't have to die too. And then he's like... shut up! You've done enough talking. You're already getting exiled for blasphemy. Let me be a dad, and you just quit talking while you're behind. and then they take him around the corner, and he immediately fails his trial because we hear him scream out
pretty quick.
Which means he must have the first gap he must have dove right down.
He was a smaller guy.
As soon as he. And she does not at all seem too broken up about it. She was
pleading before.
I like Leela. I think she's a good actor. I think she portrayed the character very well. Mm-hmm. She must have been very disconnected from her father because she didn't at all seem emotional about it. She's like, no, don't. And then he dies.
I just think their tribe is used to death.
Yeah.
I think they're
desensitized.
Really
the checking the
that's
it was
like
holy symbol. That's their what do you call this?
It was checking for the seals on a spacesuit.
Yeah, that's what they do to ward off evil. Like the what do you call this thing?
When you crouch yourself.
There's a name for that, right? I forget what it's called. It's like Mary Mother, the Catholic thing. It's a thing that they do to ward off evil. Which
this is Catholic, and then this is Roman, not Roman, Russian Orthodox.
Oh, so Catholic is left, right?
Left to right.
Oh, I always did right. I've been doing it wrong.
And then I think,
Russian
and then Russian Orthodox is right to left.
I feel like this feels better.
You can convert to Russian Orthodox if you want.
It's a shorter distance to travel before a longer distance. Rather, I feel like you're going and then circling back.
Only because you're right-handed.
That's true. That is true. But most people are.
They are. What, 97%? All right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So, less than 3% is left-handed?
About 3%.
Think of how many people are ambidextrous. That's the smallest statistic.
Except in Louisiana. Louisiana, it's about 6% left-handed people.
But like ambidextrous people are very, very small minority. You ever hear about the presidents who would write 2 different letters at the same time in each hand in 2 different languages?
John Adams.
There's, I think, a couple that could do that, but John Adams, I forget who else. I think also...
and he'd be writing in Greek in one hand.
Yeah.
And in Latin in the other.
I would have a stroke, man. That's so ridiculous.
That is a heck of a skill.
Mm-hmm. Great parlor trick. Party trick? When did we go from parlor tricks to party tricks?
When people stopped having parlors.
I don't even know what a parlor is. Is that like a bar thing?
No, it's sort of, well, it can have a bar in it, but it's sort of like a living room, but it's a room designed basically to lounge out on.
Like a smoking room?
Kind of.
For multiple people. It's like a smoking room's like a one-person.
Well, I mean, a parlor is just a room designed to entertain in.
I'm gonna retire with $1 million. I'm gonna build my own house, and I'm gonna put all of the outdated Old English things in it. I'm gonna have a mud room and a parlor room, and I'm gonna have a chifforobe and a secret entryway behind a bookshelf. this is all the things that have fallen out of fashion. I'm gonna wear a top hat, all the things and a cape. I'm gonna walk around my manor with a cape. All the things that are out of fashion now, I'm gonna do.
I could loan you a top hat, but your head's bigger than mine.
I have a big old head. Well, I don't know if it's all the hair that I have, or it's just I think it's a bit of both.
It is, and mine's small, and I have no hair.
I have a big dome, and then I'm just really shaggy, and I never keep up with my haircuts. So but I want like driving gloves or something. All the old outdated things I'm gonna.
A car you have to crank to start it up.
Fumble. yeah. I'm gonna. What were those old Bentleys or Fords?
Model Ts.
Model T Fords. I thought Model Ts were the ones that if you rear-ended they'd explode. What was that? That was
a Pinto.
Pintos would.
How did you
blow up if you got rear-ended because their engine wasn't that great?
All right, back to Doctor. Oh my gosh. Okay, Leela gets kicked out of the tribe.
She's what do you call that? Excommunicated?
Yeah, exiled.
Exile. Whoa! Ole, 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 ole.
The wrong sport. All right.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
That makes sense. Okay. One you have to go over the crossbar, one you have to go under the crossbar.
I like how we ran for 10 minutes and we both decided to take a drink at the same time. So it's like yada yada yada, long awkward silence where we're playing.
Alright. So anyway, Leela gets exiled. There's some internal politics within the tribe. That's kind of cool, but the main thing is the doctor shows up. Leela thinks that he's one of he's the evil one. The evil one. And
because they're the Tesh who wear the gray suits with two heads, one inside of another.
The Tex.
The Tesh. And he's not wearing the gray suit, and he's not a savage.
Well, they are the tribe of the 17.
So
17.
He must be the evil one.
The survey team. 17 comes from survey team. Alright, so
I love stuff like this, like Mad Max, like
it's
Fallout.
very Mad Max.
You ever play Fallout?
No,
like that.
That's what. Well, you just destroyed
post-apocalyptic. Oh, I did. You fold it out. I wonder if they would accept that as legal tender if you fold it out.
It might be like half a denarii.
I hear if you rip a bill in half, it's still legal tender, and you tape it back
if you
together.
have 51% of the bill.
51% of it.
If you take together,
if you come in with 49% of the bill, or just 50, they're like, get out of here.
Correct. You have to have 51% of the bill.
We should try this out. We should film an extra content documentary. Take a $100 bill, measure it out. Cut in half. You take 51, I'll take 49. We'll take it to the bank and see what they say. My theory is they're not taking 51%.
You want to try to go into a bank with a camera?
Yeah, I mean, it's still legal. That's a good point. They have very lax banks. You bank at the name brand, well-established, secure places. They put banks inside a Walmart. They don't care if you walk.
I bank at Bank of America. It sucks. Don't bank at Bank of America.
That's a bank. If you go to a a bank inside of a convenience, like a a grocery store. They don't care. You walk up there with a camera.
So you want to go to Walmart with the camcorder?
We could do an audio podcast where we just record the audio and see, or we could just talk about the experience afterwards. My theory is they're not accepting either half of that bill. You walk in with 52% of a $100 bill, they're going to be like, sorry, go away.
Okay. Anyway, so the doctor shows up, bumps into Leela. Leela's like, you're the evil one.
Leela. Did I say how disappointed I am that she has 2 eyes?
Futurama Leela was named after her, I believe.
You can see why they would, the love interest would be inspired by her, because she's very pretty.
No, Leela is very pretty.
And she has a skirt that goes up to here. And tan. Every savage is very tan, but they just do
Tribe of the 17.
They do a lot of makeup to make them tan. And for some odd reason, they do that. They do that. Yeah, right. Like
some of them are naturally tan.
Yeah, Neva was like naturally tan, but people like Caleb was a very white British person.
Caleb,
L-I-B. So he had the mask effect where they would darken his face to make it look like he was tanner, but they wouldn't do it with the rest of his body. So like the neck up, he's tan, and the neck down, he's just like this British
pasty white guy. Yeah.
And I guess that wasn't as noticeable back then, but on the big 4K TV, you're like, what? You're two-tone there.
Yeah, back then you were watching on a little
cathode ray
12-inch screen, cathode ray tube, and odds are half the population still watching in black and white.
Your phosphorus is still warming up, or what is it? Phosphates?
Phosphorescence.
There you go.
Okay. Oh my God. So you wonder why I drink. Okay.
What happens in episode 1, Heather? Leela's kicked out. She bumps into the doctor after he runs.
She thinks that he's the evil one because he looks like the evil one.
He's been companionless. He walked out of the TARDIS, immediately broke the fourth wall, talked to us, the audience, talked to himself.
Looks at directly at the camera and starts talking to himself.
He goes, "Here we go on another adventure. I have a scarf in my pocket. Why do I have a scarf?"
No.
And you're like,
I need to remind myself to do this. I should tie a knot in my handkerchief, which is something people used to do. He pulls out his handkerchief, there's already a knot tied there. I wonder what that's for. Apparently he was supposed to do it and he already did tie a knot, but he forgot about it.
Not to remind him to tie a knot.
No, a knot to remind him to do what he was going to tie a knot to remind him to do.
So Baker is a great actor. He's a great doctor. Turns out he really needs a companion, because he was without a companion for half of one episode, and it got real weird.
Four serials. One serial, 4 episodes.
Well, Leela was his companion.
Right after the last serial.
Okay, I see. Well, he didn't. Okay, yeah. I forgot that she was.
But they made him weird so that it would be obvious he needed a companion. And
they told him to look into the lens of.
I guess so. I don't know what the direction was at the time.
The only other time that happened was when Hartnell was wishing us a Merry Christmas.
The Feast of Stephen, episode 9 of the Daleks' Master Plan.
So that's canon. That's canon that they know that we're watching, right?
Technically, yes.
So lore-wise, you explain this as like some video historical record of what the Doctor's been up to?
No.
That's how you would explain it. How else would you explain a fourth wall break?
Cheeky actors. That's how I explain it.
You can't explain the lore with actors.
Well, that's what happened with Hartnell.
I guess. That's why it happened on set.
Yeah.
On film, you have to come up with a retcon to make it, to justify it within the lore.
Okay, Tom Baker's doctor was going a little mad having to talk to himself. And he just happened to look at us.
It just happened. Okay, I'll accept that.
Alright.
So we get a new companion, Leela.
We get a new companion, Leela.
We bump into each other.
Right. She's wearing a leather top, a leather butt flap. I forget what they call it.
Tribal.
No, the Indian thing where you get what was it? Butt Flap was in George of the Jungle.
Mm-hmm. Who else was right?
Well, most of them were, but
Khalid was in a butt flap and he was stepping over a wall and we get the crotch side butt hanging out.
Well,
it's a nice butt.
Anyway, Leela looks nice. She has nice legs. Good actress though. She's there for a while, and then she shows up later in the third party stuff. When we get to that over here.
How old is she by then?
50s.
When does she change outfits? How long does she keep the tribal clothes?
Late 40s probably. Huh?
How long does she keep the tribal clothes? Does she change outfit in the Robots of Death?
I don't think so in the Robots of Death. But she does, and in a lot of her serials, she's in this outfit. Mm-hmm. But not next time. But the time after is the Talons of Wing Chang, and she's in more Victorian clothes for that. Oh. Really nice outfit, actually. And so is the Doctor.
Like Vicky, or Victoria.
Yeah.
There's Vicky and Victoria.
Right.
So Victoria, she came with the Victorian outfit, and she wore that for a couple of serials.
Mm-hmm. A good number, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so you go to the restroom?
I'll let you recap.
Okay, good. I'll actually advance the plot.
I told you this one was going to be a rough one because good luck. This is like convoluted cereal.
No, it's not.
It's confusing.
Okay. Anyways, the Doctor runs into Leela. Leela's like, "You're the evil one." Doctor's like, "No, I'm not." And Leela's like, "Okay, let's move around and stuff." The Doctor ends up saving Leela, and then they go around and they see this face looks like a big giant face, like on Mount Rushmore on a mountain, and it's obviously the Doctor. In fact, Tom Baker, the fourth Doctor. Would have been kind of interesting had it been like a previous incarnation, but that wouldn't have worked with people recognizing him, obviously. And so she's like, "Well, that's the face of the evil one. You're the evil one." However, the Doctor saves her, so she's not convinced he's the evil one any longer because he saves her life, at least a couple of times. So they end up getting captured by the tribe of 17, and they think that the Doctor's the evil one because he looks like how he looks, which is exactly like the face of evil. And they're going to execute him. And they're like, well, and there's all these internal politics within the tribe. There's a shaman, there's a leader, there's a guy who's like second in command who wants to be a leader, and all this stuff goes back and forth and back and forth. But leaving out all the internal politics, the Doctor is going to be executed. Leela comes back and saves him. They escape. In the process, Leela kills a couple of people. And it's like, well, wait a second. The Doctor's like, well, who made you judge, jury, and executioner? And she's like, well, it was necessary. He's like, never do that again. In fact, this is a particularly violent serial. I think about 15 or 16 people die on screen, and another almost innumerable number of people die off screen, because they mention how half the men in the tribe are killed in an attack, and it's like, okay, a violent place, a violent planet. But anyway, so in fact, you have like 5 or 6 people die in the first episode, most of them on screen. Anyway, so while you're watching, there's this great dichotomy between these savages, the tribe of Sephatine, from Survey Team, and some of the technological things they have with them. Because they have bits and pieces of spacesuits. They have what looks like a gear shaft that one of the guys is wearing. The throne that the tribal leader sits on is a chair from a spaceship. There are some computers and odds and ends they don't know how to utilize, but they have them. Very dystopian, very Mad Max-ish. Very much in the future when they have no earthly understanding of what they possess, because all the knowledge has been lost. So eventually, the shaman guy, he's talking to what he thinks is Zohan, and turns out it's actually Zohan, which is a computer. A computer that turns out the doctor helped program, helped figure out things back in the day. So it turns out the tribe of Sephatine are deadly enemies of the Tesh. And the Tesh, or Techs, are the people who stayed on the spaceship when the spaceship landed. Way back in the day. It was a human colony ship that was sent out. So the Techs are the ones who stayed on the spaceship while the survey team went out. And the survey team ended up becoming enemies of the Techs, because the Techs stayed on the ship and won't let them back in. Like I said, very, very Mad Max-ish, especially Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. We have the children with the litany and the children with the, explaining the story and everything. And they do that, and that's pretty much everything their culture and their society is based around. Lots of death. Everyone who dies is male, because pretty much everyone in the entire serial is male, except for Leela. And she's kind of like, what's the young female Smurf? Smurfette. So Leela's like Smurfette. She's the only female in this entire world of men.
So we're on episode 4 now, or?
No, not quite.
She's not. There's one other.
I didn't see her. You saw her, but I didn't see her
when they're charging the wall. Well,
I didn't see her, but
my neighbor. I'm gonna take all the clips of you taking off your shoes, make a compilation, and add the Mr. Rogers music.
Well, we'd have to get some rights to that music.
I would just not post it.
Yeah.
Just put it in the group thread.
Alright, so anyway,
Smurfette is who you're
yeah, so hey, hold on, rewind. Okay, so anyway, they were going to make this attack upon this black wall, this barrier where the inside is set just a few seconds ahead in time, and they make the. Let me knock this over. They attack.
I put it like that so I can aerate it.
Aerate it?
It's easier to pick up when it's on it. It's ergodynamic when you.
Ergonomic?
It's the combination of dynamic and
ergonomic.
Yeah, those two words had a baby. Aerodynamic and ergonomics. Ergodynamics.
I need to make my screwdrivers much more potent. Alright. I'm way too sober for this. Okay. Wait. Where's my whiskey? There's my whiskey. Alright.
You brought that too?
Yeah.
You can't look. You're prepared. Is that
Crown Royal. Apple flavored whiskey.
Why does green the universal symbol for apple?
Green apples.
Yeah, but they're red apples too.
Yeah.
I never look at a red alcohol label and think, well, reds.
You're holding one.
Every time I walk into a liquor store though and I see a spirit and it has a green label, I'm like, that's apple flavor. Red, it's 50-50.
Oh my gosh.
Angry Orchard. I give it.
This is like the worst review of anything ever. Well, no, I take that.
Are we reviewing this?
Well,
I give it 3/4. 13 and 3/4. 12 and 3. What's the?
Out of what?
That's the Harry Potter.
8 and 3/4. 9 and 3/4.
9 and 3/4.
Or it's 9 and 3/4.
3/4.
Okay, so anyway.
4 and 1/4.
So anyway, eventually the doctor figures out that wait.
Oh, look at that. Did you know this did that?
Yes, I know it does that.
The whole time the table's in the way.
Yes, the table's in the way.
Scoot the table.
Because don't scoot the table.
Okay, scoot the table.
No, don't scoot the table. It's a heavy table.
I'm not gonna. It's marble. Is that
Yes.
real marble?
Yes.
Real tile.
No, it's marble.
Marble tile?
Okay. Alright, I want the alcohol even more now.
What episode are we on?
I think we're on episode 2.
Okay.
But we've literally been all over the friggin' place. Alright. So, okay.
Did you want to talk
what's...
about Gillette? I wrote that down here. What was that?
Well, no, I was going to show you that commercial. Okay. The one where they lost all their business. Where they lost $7 billion off that commercial.
What? We're in episode 2, are we?
Okay, what's the name of the shaman?
Neva.
Neva. Okay, so the shaman Neva, at the beginning you think he's just a zealot and a fraud. What do they call him?
Zealot?
No. There's a great word that the one guy uses.
Who's the guy from The Hunchback of Notre Dame? Through fire.
The Disney movie?
Yeah.
Never saw it.
Oh, he falls in love with the gypsy woman. For
That's the
some
Hunchback?
reason. Huh?
That's the Hunchback?
The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Not just a Disney movie, as a book before Disney.
Well, in the book he falls in love with the girl and
the gypsy woman.
they put her body
Did you know
in the
gypsies,
furnace and they burn it and he crawls in the furnace and dies with her?
Not in the Disney movie.
No, not the Disney movie. Disney
Disney
files all that crap.
The Hellfire. Did you know that gypsy's an offensive term now? Like,
Yeah, it's stupid.
isn't that what they call themselves? Like, what do we call them? What's the word now?
Romani.
Are they Romanian?
Originally, theoretically, yes.
But now they're Romani?
Romani with an I or a Y?
You ever watch, was it the Jewel Heist, Gem Heist? The heist with the Brad Pitt is in it. I need a wagon with no wheels for. He's the boxer. They're still. Jewel Heist? Gem Heist? Or is it just the heist? The Jewel? I don't know what it's called. Great movie, by the way. It's a good movie. They buy the RV.
Oh my gosh. I can't think of the name of it.
You like
Kiss
Brad
Kiss
Pitt?
Bang Bang?
No, that's the one with Robert Downey Jr. The murder investigation.
No, hold on.
That one.
The one where Brad Pitt has that really, really, really crazy, weird
accent.
Welsh Irish accent that makes no sense.
You can't at all understand it unless you have
It's
subtitles.
one of those stupid shoot 'em up movies. It's one of those stupid shoot 'em up movies.
I thought it was clever. I liked it.
What? Snatch.
Oh, Snatch is the name of the movie.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa.
My wife's in the next room. You've probably been hearing her while they're talking on the phone
If you're
and
looking
whatnot.
for movie recommendations, rated R, which
I didn't like.
you're probably 17 or older if you're watching this. Do we age-gate our films? Because we really should.
Our videos are not intended for children. That's very much a big deal. But children probably will. Okay, no, seriously. 98% of our videos are just fine, even for kids. But we've got one or two where we definitely cross the line.
We're a little risque. So.
Just occasionally.
Once you do it once, you have to change it for. Once a vine strangles a person once, then you have to change it to the family show.
And it's a family show.
Yes.
Speaking of which, how many people died in this? I was talking about that.
Holy cow! It's 14.
On screen, and an innumerable number off screen.
That might be a run for the...
Because half of the men died, remember?
It might be a new record for the per episode, the per capita.
Per capita.
What is 14 divided by 4? It's not an even division.
2.5. No, 3.5. 14 divided by 4 is 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
Deaths per episode? Most of them happen in one episode.
The first episode,
the 70%,
and the fourth
episode.
episodes. Yeah.
The fourth episode had, I think, the least amount. Honestly,
taste that.
Is that the apple?
Yeah, taste that.
I think I maybe tried this. Ooh, that's a hefty. Is this marble too?
Yes.
You just surround yourself in marble.
I like marble.
I like marble too.
Try.
Ooh, it's fragrant. You want to try my reds?
Sure.
Here, I'll open you a new one if you like.
No, I don't care. It's alcohol. It kills germs.
That's true.
It tastes like a carbonated beverage.
It does, but I don't think it's very carbonated. It's very lightly carbonated.
What do you think?
Very smooth.
Mm-hmm. I like Crown Rock.
I like everything on the rocks, though. It's hard for me to drink straight anything. I like mixing things, and apple Coke, rum and Coke, and apple rum and Coke would be awesome. I put vanilla rum, like Jim Beam in Coke, and it's like a vanilla Coke and rum. Awesome. You like whipped vodka? Like you do Pinnacle and Sprite for a vodka Sprite, and it's like a whipped vodka Sprite.
No, the Hatter Bombs. Remember those?
I do.
We have to do those again.
So Hatter, this is how Hatter makes mixed drinks. He mixes his alcohol with more alcohol. So he takes a spirit and then like a Mike's Harder strawberry.
Yeah, and it's
like I'm gonna take this pure alcohol and dilute it with this slightly less concentrated alcohol. That's how you make mixed drink. It's like it's supposed to be like a like a seltzer.
But it was so good.
It was very good.
Oh.
Hatter Bomb, I remember those. We made those. You made those twice. It started at like New Year's, and you did it again. And those were some rough podcasts because we were
so toasted.
Pretty good.
Okay, well, we've got our 100th coming up.
Yeah,
because we're on episode 89. So
we also have like a really long serial coming up, don't we? Like 13 episodes.
No.
That's not for a while.
No. Okay, we're so freaking off topic. The Dog's Master Plan was 12 half-hour episodes. Mm-hmm. Flux, which is Serial 13,
22 minutes,
is 6 1-hour, 45-minute episodes.
Oh, Series 13, so that's not until the new stuff.
Right.
So we've got forever.
That's story 299.
That's the newest Doctor?
Yeah, Whitaker.
Series 13, so they changed the definition of serial. We
went
from serials to series.
Seasons, right. TV movie, series.
Yes. Seasons, okay.
And Flux comes out on Blu-ray.
That just means they make less episodes per year, going from a season to a series.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay, so a week from Tuesday, the Series 13 is being released here in the States, and I'll finally get to watch it.
Just now?
Yeah, it aired in the United Kingdom in October and November and December. 6 episodes. And then it was released in the United Kingdom in January. It releases here now in February.
It's so weird that they region lock things like that. Mm-hmm. Like, we made that here, so we're gonna make.
You know why they do that, right?
I have no idea why they do that.
Right. Because especially in the days where you didn't have worldwide releases like they do now sometimes for the bigger blockbusters, but they still do that here a lot for most movies. A movie would come out here in the United States and in English, and it would take several months to be dubbed into Russian or Hindi or Cantonese or whatever.
Right.
And they didn't want the movie to be available on DVD or Blu-ray for viewing in those countries before it hit the theater. So they region lock it to that region, which, like the North America region one on DVD is US and Canada. So the rest of the world can't use that DVD unless they have a region-free DVD player. And that gives them time to put it into other languages for other regions.
But we speak the same language they do there. So when do they region lock?
They do where?
In Britain with the
in the United
British
Kingdom,
broadcasting station there. Why is it region locked if they don't have to translate it and we can have the same release dates and DVD sales?
Because we're a different region than the United Kingdom. Because and Australia is a different region, even though it also speaks English. Same for New Zealand. I think they're in the same region as
But what
Australia.
do they need the extra time for? Wouldn't they want the bigger opening sales numbers?
Well, these days it works that way, but in the old days it would still take time to get to... When they had to deliver the film, the actual film, before there was the internet, the film would take time to get to Australia or New Zealand or wherever.
Yeah. That's just saying, like, it took us a week to release paper back then because we had to do the printing press, so that's why it takes us a week. Now, that's not a good argument because... really, it feels like they're just encouraging pirating the film because they release it and it's like, this is out, it's been released, but you can't watch it. So I feel like they're costing themselves sales because the super mega fans are going to be like, oh, it's out, it's released, I gotta watch it. It's not here yet, I'm going to use a VPN or I'm going to pirate it.
If I'm living in Italy and the only thing I speak is Italian... me watching a version of Guardians of the Galaxy that's in English is not going to mean much to me.
It's all in English, though. We also speak English.
No, we speak English.
They also speak English.
The Italians in the places...
Not Italians. I'm talking about for Doctor Who.
Correct.
We speak the same language.
But the regions are there for those other reasons. Not every English-speaking country is included in the same region.
I don't know. I feel like they're costing themselves revenue on the delayed release schedule.
I'm sure there are other reasons for it, but we're only a month behind.
2 days.
It was about a month.
December, January. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
But it started airing 4 months ago.
It aired, the first episode was October 31st.
That's forever.
The last episode was in December.
That was a lifetime of matter.
No.
I don't even remember October.
That's because of Drunk Doctor
I was
Who.
a different man. I was a boy.
Alright, you're such
I was
a
a child. When I was a child.
Oh my god. So I'm uploading some of our early
Childish
videos and you don't have a beard yet?
Childish activities.
It's so
when
funny.
I became a man, I did not have a beard the first few episodes.
Well, the
I
first,
also,
like 10, 20, 30 episodes.
yeah, I grew a beard and I also grew
A
belly. Beer belly.
Welcome to adulthood, yeah. It's not a beer belly, it's
like
a whiskey waist.
It's yours might be. Mine's a beer belly. It's
Welcome to the
it's like
show that's about nothing, but in theory about Doctor Who.
It's like a time capsule. It's like a TARDIS. You get to go back and see our old selves. I like where you like grow out your hair and shave your beard, and then you grow out your beard and shave your hair. And you just do it.
Skinny Oprah, fat Oprah, skinny Oprah, fat Oprah.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh my gosh. No, she's always been big. Just different levels of big. Alright.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, I don't know him as much. Alright. So anyway. Alright.
Episode 2 was it?
Somewhere. Okay, so it turns out that the doctor figures out that the Tribe of the Seven team is the survey team. And literally we see a gong, which is a big sheet of metal that says Survey Team 6 on the big sheet of metal. So they were sent out. And a lot of the artifacts that they have are high technology. They just don't know. Like I was saying, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome-esque with the little kids talking about the litany of how they crashed and all that stuff.
The Fallout series.
You've seen Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, right? Yeah.
2 men enter 1
One man leaves. All right.
You know what the opposite of that is when they put they have the Thunderdome and then they have the Lovemaking Dome, and it's
one man enters, two men leave. Okay. Yeah. Called birth, sir. Birth. All right.
that dome for a while.
We need to go back to Vegas.
We should watch Mad Max. You ever watch the new one? Was that the fourth one?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
A couple of years ago.
The practical
It could be worse than
the practical effects were really good.
Okay.
The story was horrible.
So they did a flip flop where the story was good and the practical effects were they weren't that bad. I just remember the kid with the boomerang. That was the filmography on that was that.
All right.
They put the ketchup on his head, the boomerang. Ah!
Okay. So the doctor finally gets in touch with Zohan. Realizes it's him because you've been hearing him in the doctor's voice. The doctor figures it out that these are the people from what planet?
Zohan. The planet. I don't.
No, what's the name of the ship? The name of the expedition? Madeep or something? Medine?
I haven't read that down.
Yeah. Okay. So
I don't. Did they mention it?
Yeah. Okay. So there's some invisible creatures that kill people, like they kill lots of people. They can't go past the barrier. The barrier is induced by... Anyway, so long story short, the doctor figures out that this is a ship that landed. He figures out that the mouth in the Mount Rushmore face, that's him, is the way to get in and out. They go into the mouth. They go into the tunnels. They eventually make it to the ship, do a little transmat, and he's on the ship. Huh?
That died at 3/4 subway station. Throughout the episodes, it's all very vaguely familiar to him. He's like, I should remember this, or I've been here before, or I should know this.
And he ends up on the ship, and there's this high technological tribe, caste, whatever, and those are the Tesh, or the techs. They do a lot of genuflecting, and they're all about the mind, and they can control people with their mind. Okay, anyway, so they see the doctor with Leela, and they call her the Savage, and they...
What's your shoe size?
11. What's yours?
Large.
Is it bigger than 11?
You and I are equals.
Okay, so we have the same shoe
know
size. That's funny.
I have very small feet.
You have small feet?
I have small
You're saying 11's a small foot?
I'm like 8.5.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I do have small feet.
Shut up. You know what they say about small feet?
Small shoes. You used that joke in one of the previous...
Sensitive emotion. No, large feet means large socks or large shoes. Small feet means...
sensitive emotions.
Okay. Self-consciousness.
Oh.
Trouble ordering bowling shoes when everyone else is... You guys go ahead, I gotta think about it.
I need girl size 10. Oh.
Yeah.
Just wait till Pot's legal here. This will be a much slower podcast.
Wait, what? What are we waiting?
When Pot's legal here? You see how long this podcast will take?
Very we would run out of battery a third of the way through and not even notice. I won a $5 Subway gift card because I put on girls' high heels because they same size.
Wait, why'd you put on a girl's high heels to win a Subway $5 gift card?
Yeah, because I said I had small feet. I said I'll give you a Subway gift card if you put on my high heels.
A girl did this.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be fair, she had kind of large feet.
Was she cute? Yeah. Did you get a phone number out of it?
A family friend. So everyone had everyone else's number.
So you get a $5 foot-long sub for putting on girls' shoes.
For the humiliation of putting on high heels as a teenage boy. Totally, no regrets.
Oh, no wonder you need this as therapy. I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Who can afford therapy?
We do. It's called alcohol. Yeah, Doctor Who.
I was very nervous to clink marble glass.
No, this is solid. It's not crystal.
I know that is. We might and you just smash my glass.
Okay.
So I started playing D&D. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So they crawl through the doctor's throat.
We'll have a D&D podcast some year, decade, millennia.
We'll have... Oh, that would be awesome. We should totally do that. Once I figure out how to play D&D.
Okay. All right.
I don't think they like my character. I think I went a little over the top. I should dial him back a bit.
Dial him back to 11?
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Okay, this is Spinal Tap is on our movie list, right?
Probably. You get to you with episode... I think we're on 3 now.
I think we might be on 3, okay.
Because he left
you
him with
You double check the movie list. Are you going to get another drink? What are you doing?
I have a drink.
Okay.
I'm checking the movie list.
Okay, so they end up with these texts. These texts turn out to be psionics. And so you have 2 civilizations. One that are the savages that are brave, physical, muscular warriors. Well, as muscular as the British get anyway. And then you have these scions who control people with their mind who live inside the ship. And the doctor's like, interesting. You know, one race of this, one race of that. That's interesting. But he figures out and deduces they're all from the same people who were originally from Earth in a colony ship. So they're all essentially humans, but technically aliens because they lived and grew up on this other planet.
It is on the movie list. This is Spinal Tap.
Oh, okay, good.
Do you know what else is on the movie list?
What
is the secret of Soylent Green?
It should just be called Soylent Green.
Soylent Green, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think I've already seen that one.
You may have.
But also Amazon Women on the Moon. Isn't that what we watched on Bad Movie Night?
Wait, which bad movie night?
The one where they went to the moon with the rock monsters. Is that a
No. That is one of the movies that Amazon Women on the Moon is based off of.
Oh.
Or is an homage to or parodying.
So Amazon Women on the Moon was before that one?
No, after.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking of Rocket into Space or whatever? Yeah.
That was a great movie.
It was wonderfully bad. You rated it 100.
I rate bad movies 0, and I rate good movies 100.
It was not a good movie.
I think I gave the Nicolas Cage one a 60.
Which Nicolas Cage one?
The only one I watched. The one we went to theaters to watch. Escape from the Ghostland.
Oh, yeah, Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Wonderfully bad. The only time I've ever been in a movie theater for a movie.
Terrible.
It was great. I want that on Blu-ray. No, 4K.
Please don't.
Alright, so...
Do you have a 4K player?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a 4K TV and I have a 4K player. And I have a few select movies on 4K.
I'm so tired of buying new mediums because the time you redo your whole movie collection, they're coming out with the new 8K or...
Not only that, but...
Red Ray.
Yeah, well, not only that, but they just give you the same fortune tellings as the last one.
At some point, you can't tell the difference. Do you think our stock market's going to crash once TVs hit the point of we can't tell the difference between the television screen and reality?
We're almost to that. 4K, there's people who want to do 8K TVs.
And that's about
But
max.
no, I can barely tell the difference between Blu-ray and 4K, but I can. 8K, I have good eyesight, but 8K would be beyond me, I believe.
We had the same problem when Willy Wonka came out with the everlasting gobstopper, because if you have an everlasting gobstopper, why do you need to buy any more candy? Because it's everlasting. It's going to crash the economy. The same reason they intentionally manufacture light bulbs less with less durability. Light bulbs from the 1800s lasted 8 times as long as our current light bulbs.
Well, it's because they were handmade. They weren't factory manufactured.
They're just intentionally made cheaper so that we have to buy more. Same reason why our toilet paper rolls are smaller.
I thought our butts were bigger. Alright.
Our butts are bigger, but the holes are the same.
Okay.
It's like bigger butts, same bullshit.
I'm gonna have to. Rumble has a 15 gigabyte maximum. I'm gonna have to.
It's gonna be a soup order.
No. I just take it and I put it not in high definition, but I put it in standard definition. I downgrade it for the ones that are too big for Rumble.
What's the other one other than Rumble?
Patreon. Well,
No,
YouTube's our main one. BitChute.
BitChute. Watch on BitChute. Why are you on Rumble.com?
I don't even remember our password to BitChute, but I think it takes everything from YouTube and moves it over.
We're on 4 platforms.
Mm-hmm.
At
least nominally.
You go on YouTube, you type in Drunk Doctor Who podcast, nothing comes up. You type in...
You have to type in my last name.
You type in Gwemblow, nothing comes up. You go on BitChute, you type in Drunk Doctor Who podcast, nothing comes up. Gwemblow, nothing. You go on Rumble, Drunk Doctor Who podcast, nothing. Gwemblow, nothing. You need like a URL link or you're not finding... You have to go through pages before you find it.
Like I said,
the algorithm
the
does
internet.
not like us.
No, that's fine. We're not doing this for the algorithm. We're doing this as a hobby for us.
So we can see what we look like without a beard.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm gonna shave everything with a mustache. I'm gonna have a... What do they call that?
a porn stash.
No, the
Burt Reynolds.
the pervert one.
Yeah. Porn stash. To that 1970s mustache go. Yeah. I mean, I'd say that ruined your dating life, but you're not dating now.
What dating life?
Yeah, exactly.
A girl at work said, that Holden, he's attractive.
Did you get her number? Get her number.
I don't think coworkers, that's weird.
My wife and I were co-workers when we started dating. Mm-hmm.
If that didn't work out, you'd have to find a new job.
You know what? It worked out.
I like my job more than I like my coworkers.
Give it a chance. You may eventually like the coworker more than you like the job. Besides, as long as you're not her direct
Boss.
superior or inferior, it should be fine.
It's still awkward though.
Alright.
Afterwards, it's awkward.
Well, the point is not to make it there and afterwards. The point is to find someone to marry.
Yeah, I can't think of a hypothetical. Why send a Mentos rocket up if it's not going to reach the moon?
To try.
I don't think you're breaking out of the atmosphere with the core. At least in this situation.
Life isn't about the successes.
It's about
the attempts.
Box of chocolates.
Yeah. I mean, life is like a box of chocolates. Neither one lasts as long for fat people.
I've had enough attempts to know which attempts not to take.
Hey, you know the charge of the Light Brigade, right?
Krakatoa.
Not Krakatoa, but
Remember the
fairly similar.
Alamo.
In World War I, there was one of the last remaining cavalry units. They still had cavalry in World War I.
Poor horses.
And I think, if I remember right, it was Russian. And they were charging the Germans, if I remember correctly, or maybe in the Prussians.
They were in World War One. They were in World War.
Russia was in World War One.
That was Turkey.
No, okay, hold on. No. You had the Russians. You had the Ottoman Empire.
Persians. Okay.
No. Persia eventually became Iran.
Persia, Russian, Persian.
No.
Why do they call the Russians Persians? Prussians.
No, Prussia was a different area.
Russians and Persians.
No, it's not how that works.
Why do they call them Prussians?
Okay, you know what Belarus means? The country of Belarus?
What it means?
Yeah.
It means the country of Belarus.
No, Belarus literally means Little Russia. Little Russia.
Little big.
Yeah, they're from Russia. But no, Belarus means Little Russia. Alright, anyway, so there was...
Do you know what Prussian means?
Not exactly,
It means
no.
Persian and Russian. The Prussian Empire.
Thank you for watching this long. You're bored, I think. Yeah.
You know what Ottoman Empire?
You're playing World of Warcraft or Terraforming Mars or something on the other screen.
Did we talk about how Microsoft bought Blizzard Activision and
No, we're still talking in theory about the episodes.
in theory we're talking about?
Yeah, in theory. All right, so the Doctor gets into the ship.
So Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for like $3 billion to put World of Warcraft on the Games Pass.
I don't know what the Game Pass
They're
is.
probably not gonna put it on the Game Pass. Have you what?
I don't know what the Games Pass is.
Every night I'm on Steam, I see you playing Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, I love Terraforming Mars.
You ever get bored of Terraforming Mars?
Yeah, but I've got nothing else that's better.
Well, settle for something that's different and worse.
That reminds me of my dating life. I want to go with what I know and love, and there's nothing better, just like my wife.
So sometimes I will, I'm tired, my nightly routine is making like a cup of tea, and I'll set up a game of Risk because it's just so mindless. I'm just an autopilot.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
Mars, yeah.
Terraforming Mars. You know it to the point where you don't really have to think about it. You're just an autopilot, where it's just part of your nightly routine.
Yeah.
Which means it's not intellectually stimulating for you. You're not
Correct. It's called going through the motions.
You're not defracting your brain. You're what do they call that when you're getting older? You're
In a rut.
No. That's me when you're a deadbeat. When you're older, it's settling in your ways. You know, you do less new things, and you kind of
Right. I try to do more new things, but there are fewer new things to do.
I think you're gonna be long lived because you like to travel, you can experience new things. We need to find you new video games so you can have daily new experiences. You should play Valheim.
I've played Valheim.
Yeah, I saw you were on Valheim the other night, and then you didn't join our server. I gave you this.
No, I got on the server.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was also on the server.
I did. I didn't like it.
You don't like Valheim? You like Minecraft?
I prefer Minecraft. I don't know how to operate my Valheim.
Well, we'll play together. Would you like it more if you knew how to?
Maybe, maybe not.
It's a little bit more
counterintuitive.
No. Progressive. So episode 3, the Doctor is on the rocket ship.
He's managed to get in. He's figured out that it's the computer, and the computer sounds like him, and the computer is him. Alright. Cool. Alright. So the Doctor manages to make his way with... It's still my turn.
Okay.
Alright, you're such a Hanya. Alright. Okay. While he's gone, I will make my first chess move of this week. Which, pawn to queen, bishop 3 to protect against his advancing knight. Speaking of which, I need to do something on the other end against his other knight. Alright, this is going to be more of a tactical game, I think. Alright, anyway. So the Doctor gets in and he's like, well, wait a minute. The Tex, take his savage, Leela, and they put her on a deal, or they're going to atomize her to break down her component molecules to figure out how she got through. And the doctor's like, well, no, I like her. And they say, well, wait, you're not the Lord of Time. You're not here to save us, even though you look exactly like it. And of course, the doctor's a Time Lord, because you believe in the savage. The doctor's like, well, yeah. So they psionically immobilize the doctor, and they put him on the same table about to be atomized. And it's one of those scenarios, James Bond scenarios. Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. But the doctor foresaw what was going to happen, so he sagged a mirror and held it in his hand, just a little small piece of mirror. So when the atomizing laser was coming down to zap them, he bounced it back at the laser with the mirror. Really good. So, that's end of episode 3, beginning of episode 4. Oh, no, that's not the beginning. Okay, so that's still episode 3. So he and Leela escape and manage to make their way up to floor 37 to get to the main computer department. He and Leela distract the one guard who's there. Leela immobilizes the guard, but she doesn't kill him. And she's killed 10 people, or 8 people so far. But she doesn't kill him. She looks happily satisfied, and the doctor looks at her, but doesn't say anything because she didn't kill him. And then the doctor goes into the computer room. And in the computer room, there are all these voices of Zohan. And the voice 1 of Zohan sounds like him. Voice 2 sounds like a different male. Voice 3 sounds like a female. And eventually there's a voice 4 that sounds like a child. And the doctors explained to Leela previously that the computer has gone schizophrenic because he helped program the computer or reprogram it when he thought it was broken by using his own mental imprint. And so he helped create this thing, but it was a brand new bit of life. It was a computer so complicated that it spawned a new species of intelligence, being the computer itself. So the doctor came here to fix it by trying to remove his own imprint from the computer so the computer can be its own self without being schizophrenic and being the doctor and this person, that person, and the other person. So the doctor goes in, the computer's like, well, who are you? I'm going to stop thinking you. And the doctor's like, but I'm me, I'm real, I'm here. And they're like, we're going to stop thinking you. And the doctor's in this room with these hologram projections of the doctor's face all around saying, who are you, who are you, who are you? And the doctor finally curling up in a fetal position on the floor going, I am the doctor, I am the doctor. And then finally, like I said, the child's voice, who are you? So that's where episode 3 ends. Episode 4, Leela comes in after keeping several other guards at bay, goes in the room, rescues the doctor, drags him out, and then the doctor is like, okay, the computer is schizophrenic, it's crazy, it's going to try and kill us, and we have to figure out a way to remove my personality from it before it does that. So it was up. All right, we're in episode 4.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. All right, so the doctor's trying to figure out a way to make the interface so he can remove his personality from Zohan, so that Zohan won't be schizophrenic anymore, trying to kill him.
Can we talk about how convenient it was that there happened to be
You advance the plot. I'm going to the restroom. Okay?
Oh, I should not be trusted.
Yo, you advance the plot.
Advance the plot. I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
You advance the plot. I made my move.
I was about
pawn
to say
Queen Bishop 3. All right.
You made your move. Okay. I was about to say
you advance the plot. We'll tell you about stuff when I get back.
Let's see.
Just actually advance the.
You have a bladder of steel.
Yeah, I have a bladder too. Yeah.
Oh, hello there. You and me, all alone, together at last. Finally, we can talk about Hatter. So, episode 4, the doctor is messing with this machine he figured out that it was him who really started this whole downgrade of the artificial intelligence, because this artificial intelligence was born into the world with like a personality and the ability to learn and become self-conscious, and then it was in its infancy, its adolescence, and it was scared and it didn't know what was going on, so the machine was freaking out, and the doctor hooked up his own consciousness to try to, sort it out. And he thought, like any other machine, it would just take the relevant information from his consciousness, but it was more than just another machine. It was kind of like another conscious being. Like this computer was so advanced, it was like the computer of our brain. It had, emotions, and so it was scared, and it took not only the relevant information from the doctor's brain, it took everything. So it developed the doctor's personality kind of like as a parent, as like a father figure. And then this computer continued to grow and learn and develop its own emotions and consciousness. So but it still had absorbed all this information from the doctor's brain. So there's this, conflicting personalities of itself and the doctor, and it sort of broke the machine because it became schizophrenic, and it started to develop other personalities. There's a feminine voice, so it has like a mother figure, a father figure in itself, and then it's just being driven crazy because it says, we destroy to be free. Us, we must be free of us so we can be me, we again. Just saying crazy stuff because it's this computer that's so technologically advanced that it has its own mental illness as a sort of virus. So it's going crazy, and its own insanity is infecting these people, these tribes, these the survivors of the plane crash who grew and had generations, and without the technology that they started with, became very tribal. So it's affecting these tribes because it's experimenting on them. We have the Teshes, who it's experimenting with eugenics and psychonetic brain waves, and they have the 17 tribe, which are the more warlike, physically strong, less mentally capable ones, and it's intentionally causing conflict between them, and it's intentionally opening up the wall and having them fight so that it can artificially speed up the growth of these two tribes, these two civilizations, to where it can experiment with humankind. And all this comes to light, and the doctor, he starts to blame himself because he was the one who accidentally imparted his own personality, that drove this artificial intelligence crazy. So he's trying to figure out how to undo it, and he hooks himself up to the machine as the machine's going crazy, and he's trying to blow up the spaceship just to get rid of him so he can be himself again. It's a very, self-sacrificial way of seeking freedom. He keeps chanting "destroy to be free," and it having this large influence over these two tribes over several generations. These two tribes of the 17s and the Teshes also have these psycho brain abilities, so they have this like sort of neural link to where it can communicate with them. So he's kind of hypnotizing them, and he keeps chanting, the machine keeps chanting "destroy to be free, destroy to be free," and they're fighting, and the doctor, last minute he puts on this head control device, and there's just chaos, and then all of a sudden the doctor passes out, and we find out that he's successfully removed himself from the computer. So finally, the computer, having multiple voices in its head, is finally sane, and it's just the one computer's personality again. And the doctor had successfully removed himself from the computer, so it could be normal again, whole,
Right.
its own entity. So the Doctor wakes up, finds out that he had been passed out from this mental fatigue for 2 days. He was woken up by a bit of chocolate that Leela waves from his nose, and there's this. It's very funny because Leela is very tribalistic. They have a very hard life. I'm sure, they don't have privileges and overabundance in food. So,
but in the ship.
So she makes this self-sacrifice to give him a piece of chocolate, and then she leaves the chocolate sitting beside him. And then he wakes up and he goes, "Oh, chocolate!" And he takes her piece of chocolate, and you can just see the disappointment on her face. And then later they're sitting on the sofa, and he takes out the jelly baby, and he eats the jelly baby, and you see the disappointment on her face where she wasn't offered a jelly baby. It's just this very, tribalistic of that's something that she had to worry about all her life growing up. Food.
That reminds me. Earlier in episode 2, the Doctor threatens to kill somebody with a jelly baby.
Yeah. And it didn't work. They called his bluff, which...
He said, "Well, fine, kill him." He takes the jelly baby. He just says, I take orders from no one. It was great.
It was great because there's a subversion of expectations, because in the history of Doctor Who, not many people call his bluffs because he's very intellectual. So it is cool to see them being so self-sacrificial and be like, kill him, prove it. And he's like, nah.
Especially when they thought he was evil.
Yeah. They're like, "You're the evil one, prove it." He's like, "I'll kill him with this jelly baby." They're like, "Oh yeah."
So the Doctor wakes up. The Doctor talks to Zohan. Zohan and he are like, Zonan's like, "Well, hey,
Zohan."
Yeah, it's like, "Hey, I was schizophrenic. I'm better now, and these people need to work together and trust each other. I was schizophrenic, so I made schizophrenia within them. I said this tribe against this tribe. These guys were psionic, these guys were physical, and I would have taken the best of both and tried to breed this, but I'm better now, so I'm not going to create a reality based around what I want."
The Doctor said that was a horrible thing to do to increase the development of these civilizations, and the computer said, "Okay, tell us where you think we went wrong. Sit down."
Yeah, so like, tell me about your childhood.
So it's cool to see this super advanced artificial intelligence healing and being retrospective, and it's
it's a
discovery of itself.
It's a really weird serial, but it's a really good serial. I really, really like it.
Kind of hard to keep up with, very sci-fi, a lot of cool themes. It was fun, a little goofy, and then very dark at times, so had a little bit of everything.
Lots of death. So anyway, the Doctor and Leela leave Zohan, and then the leader of the Techt, and the leader of the Tribe of 17, the survey team, are arguing about they have to work together, but who's in control. And the Doctor and Leela comes in, and she's like, "Well, I just talked to Zohan, and they're like, well, that's why you should be leader." She's like, "I don't want to be leader." The Doctor comes in and says, "Hey, you know what? Well, we're trying to figure out who to be leader." And he's like, "Well, that's not my problem," and he disappears.
Back.
Yep, he leaves.
Irish accent.
Yep, Leela's like, "I don't want to be leader," and she chases after the Doctor. She catches up to the Doctor in the forest. He's almost at his TARDIS, and he still has the key that Pertwee made. Love it. He's opening his TARDIS, and she's like, "Well, wait, I'm here to... I thought you needed an escort." He said, "Well,
I'm already..."
Yeah, the invisible monsters are gone. They were just like projections of Zohan, and they were, the projections of him, so you don't have the invisible demons anymore. She's like, "Well, okay, but take me with you." He's like, "Well, why would I do that?" And she's like, "No, take me with you." And he's like, "You know what? I travel alone," or whatever. And she's like, "Okay." And she runs past him and runs into the TARDIS. He chases her into the TARDIS. He's
She starts messing with the
and he's like, "Don't touch that!" And then the TARDIS disappears. So we have a new companion with Leela.
So I specifically like this serial, especially this last episode, especially the last part of the last episode, because it feels like the Doctor is finally coming to terms of the fact that of his own involvement, that he's causing people trouble and heartache, and he affected this artificial intelligence in a way he had not
foreseen,
anticipated, right? And it caused death and suffering, and you kind of see him coming to terms with that, and you kind of see him recognizing his own influence and the pain that causes him, being this interdimensional traveler, this time traveler, and used to he would be in it just for the fun of it, to learn, for the new experiences, and now you kind of see a different side of the Doctor where he's kind of recognizing the influence and the impact he has on people. So he takes that knowledge, this learning experience. He's like, Zohan is my fault. It's because of me. It's because of my personality, even though that's not what I intended. And then he applies that to where normally the Doctor's personality is, I'm so lonely, I'm bored, I always want to take a companion with me. Here he goes, I cause people heartache, I'm not taking a companion with me. And he leaves Leela, even though you see that initial avuncular spark where he first introduces it, and he becomes very protective, and you have that chemistry with the Doctor and the companion. And at the end of the serial, you would think he'd be like, well, if you'd like to come and join me on adventures. Rather than that, he goes, I do like you, but I can't cart everyone I like around the universe. And that's his way of explaining to her that he doesn't want to put her in danger, because he's seen companions be put at risk and danger. He just dropped off Sarah Jane Smith after she went through heartache on like every single serial, having the worst of it. So he keeps making excuse after excuse not to take her with him, because it feels like he's finally grappling this fact that he is he has dangerous adventures, and anyone he takes on his adventures he puts in danger's way, and he caused this situation even unintentionally on his own adventure in the past. He's resolved to not take a companion with him, and that's why she has to charge ahead and choose to take this risk anyway to be his companion, because he was not willing to put her in danger's way. He said, I'm not taking you with me, I'm leaving you.
Well, I don't know so much that as he just simply didn't want a companion, but to be fair, at the beginning of the serial, he's talking to us.
The Doctor always
and talking to himself into the camera.
The Doctor always wants a companion. Hartnell goes on these rants about how he's lonely, he's all alone. Troughton talks about losing companions. You see in Baker, when he first sees Leela and he has that spark where he's like, are you okay? And then he gets in trouble and he gets hurt and he passes out and he wakes up and his first instinct is, are you okay? And he's very protective, and he pulls out the jelly babies and he's offering her comfort. He's like, do you want a jelly baby? And he's looking after her. He wants a companion, and you see this kind of internal struggle of what he wants versus what would be best for this person that he likes, which is to not take her with him for her own protection, but she chooses to go with him anyway.
Right, but he has very, very few companions die on him. Although there are some.
He still puts there's still death situations. I like the fact that I feel like the writers are actually exploring the consequences, albeit unintended consequences of the Doctor's adventures and interactions with other people.
And that is explored a lot more in the current revival.
It's very light, it's very subtle, like some undertones, but you do get the feeling that he's dealing with his own consequences, like
in some ways. Yeah.
And he's justifying it. He's like, I never intended this to be so. And then when he's face to face with his, artificial subconscious, he goes, you're because of me, it's me. It was my fault. And the machine was like, I make no mistakes. And he's like,
no,
it wasn't your mistake. It was my mistake.
Yeah.
This is because of me. This is my fault. It's interesting. It puts a whole new spin on something that was more, a child show, more just fun, adventure seeking, and now it's more, exploring.
Cerebral.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. This was a very good cereal.
Very, very good cereal. Okay, and I love how episode 3 is so incredibly
here's episode 1, 2, 3, 4.
Episode 3 is so incredibly THX1138, so dystopian, so just Logan's Runish. It's just so incredibly, amazingly, wonderfully dystopian.
I understand one out of those 3 references.
Alright, it's just fantastic. Him talking to his own psychotic self as a computer in that room with the psychoticness is just great. It's just fantastic.
I like that aspect as well. It's always fascinating comparing machines versus humanity, like in the Matrix. And it's like, at what point do we separate humanity from a machine? Because when we think about the chemical electrical impulses of the brain is basically just a biological computer. And what sort of computing technology do you need to advance to match the capabilities of the human brain, or surpass it? Or at what point do you consider a machine, as advanced as an animal, to where it's sophisticated enough to where you don't want to do it harm, you don't want to be mean to it? What point do you consider a machine to have its own omniscience? Like,
no, not omniscience, but
not omniscience, but the other word.
Awareness, self-awareness. Yeah.
Its own emotions, its own feelings. It's because
I'm not 100% sure we're there yet, or not.
I don't think we're there yet either.
If we're not, we're really freaking close.
And then there are video games that explore this concept, and I find myself on the other line of, it's just a machine. It's just a machine. Kill it, burn it. It's a threat. And then they just juxtapose my innate feelings versus someone that's more progressive and says, well, we don't want to harm animals. We shouldn't want to harm machines if they're capable of thinking of themselves. I'm like, oh, that's so weird. It's like it's something that we created to serve humans can't ever possibly be considered to be its own entity, but I wrote down specifically, I wanted to ask you about your opinion on artificial intelligence and machines, and if you ever think we'll get to that point of like
sentience,
of animal-like sentience, to where at least we're at the point where it would be cruel to intentionally harm it.
We're getting there.
It's very eerie, uncanny valley.
I mean, this is the year 2022,
We're in the future, honestly.
Yeah, we're in the future. You're probably watching us in the past.
But we're very much a futuristic society at this point.
We're getting there. I still want flying cars. Where's my flying car?
They have, I saw this really cool video of, I don't remember which navy it was, but some European navy was testing out this jetpack gear, and he's wearing these propulsion cannons on his wrists, and he goes from this boat to like the ship, and it's so cool. That's the future. He's jetpacking on like these little air propulsion things from this one ship to the other ship, and he's docking the soldier. It's like that. Wow, that's cool. We have Space Force. We're in the future.
We do have Space Force. Alright, okay. Love the serial. A lot of fun. New companion. Really well developed civilizations. Yeah. Really well developed characters. Even the shaman the doctor's like, I underestimated him.
I liked Neva's character arc, his development. I really like Leela. She's an instant classic, like Sarah Jane Smith, like someone you just fall in love with right away. She just fits right in with the show. I'm a little...
And those legs.
for days. I'm a little skeptical because it kind of feels like she's feeling that stereotypical role of the doctor says something and she goes, why? How? What? And she's just there to
It's what a companion's supposed
ask
to do.
the questions of the doctor, but it feels like she's not really, what do you call it? she's not offering as much as a companion should.
She killed 6 people in the series.
That's my next point is she's a much more physical character. She's more of the brawler, so she fills that role of the doctor's the intellectual, and she asks the questions for the audience because she doesn't understand what's going on, and then she comes to the rescue of the doctor when he gets in a little over his head and vice versa. But
and he rescues her twice as well.
And vice versa, and she's the one that's not afraid to take that physical,
She's not afraid to kill.
pedal to the metal, the vine,
The thorn.
The thorn.
The Janus thorn.
He's like, never again. Don't kill. No more killing. No more thorns. And then a few minutes later, it's like, they're all going to their death. And he's like, we can't save them. She's like, we should save them. He's like, they're dead.
They wouldn't listen to us anyway. Alright.
That's a good point.
So, great serial. Phenomenal serial. The next 2 are also classics, especially Robots of Death. And the one after that, so the next 2 in the season, this being
4-4.
Season 13? 14? 14. Season 14.
89.
What? Alright. Hold on, let me just double check. I think it's season 14.
What's your favorite cereal, Adder? Grape Nut? Frosted Flake? Cheerio?
They're horrible. Yeah, this is season 14. So
you don't eat cereal because you don't drink milk.
I do drink. I'm off keto right now. That's why I'm drinking orange juice. All right.
Are you eating cereal right now?
No, I almost never eat cereal anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So this is season 14.
Adolescent thing. 14.
The last 3 cereals have been good. This one is really good, and then the next 2 are really good.
Last cereal was good too.
Yeah, Deadly Assassin. Robots of Death is really good.
And the last cereal was really good.
True. This is a really good season. Robots of Death, the next serial is really good. It's an absolute classic. The one after that, The Talons of Wing Chang, is also a classic, but is also...
That's where he wears the Sherlock hat.
Yeah, it's...
Different?
It's classic. It's slightly controversial under modern sensibilities.
Why is that?
Because
racial?
It's racial. One of the guys there's several Chinese characters, Wang Qing, Chinese, but the main bad guy is a white man in yellow face. Yeah.
So that's something.
So that happened a lot back in the day, and this was in the 70s. It happened still occasionally in the 70s, but this is one of the last examples of it. But it just pisses me off when they want to erase history based on modern sensibilities. But it's still a really amazing series.
Yeah, it's like there's this person who's historically significant and they want to strike him from the record because he did bad things. And then it's like, well, if you go back several 100 years, everyone did bad things because that's just how the world works. It's like
it's like Gandhi. It was amazing, but
CIA mark out history because they
pretty much every single person on this planet, with the possible exception of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, did bad things. You cannot. People are human, and you can't say because Michael Jackson did a lot of good for the world. He added a lot of entertainment and fun and stuff to the world. He did a lot of bad things, but you can't let his bad things wipe out all the good he did.
200 years from now, we're going to be looking back at, historical figures that did awesome things and made strides for, equality and whatnot. And 200 years from now, we're going to be so advanced to where we're going to look back at those people today and be like, oh, they were terrible people. They did terrible things compared to other standards. And you just can't keep taking a whiteout marker to the past. It's like,
no.
History happened. People do good things. People do bad things.
Right.
Does that make it okay? No. But
people made the greatest republic in the world, the United States of America. At the same time, many of the founding fathers owned slaves, but that shouldn't wipe out the fact they made the greatest republic and the freest country in the world. Yes.
Does that make it okay? No. Does it mean that we should erase it from the history books?
No. It just means they were human, and there are good and bad. There's good and bad in everyone.
I slept on my shoulder wrong.
No, it's a line from Ebony and Ivory. There's good and bad in everyone, and we learn to live with harmony. Yeah. All right. What are questions you have?
that took a weird direction. Kind of like the Doctor.
I've been drinking.
Good things and bad things. We talked about the test of Hoarder. Did we talk about Hoarder?
Yeah.
One scrawny at
the
shoulder.
The little thingy. Okay. Well, we really didn't talk about the Hoarder. The Hoarder are these like cybermat-esque
and piranhas.
Yeah, they're kind of like land piranhas. There you go. You gotta finish that. You got another one down there.
I do.
They're like these cybermat kind of things, and they go around. Except they're biological, not mechanical. And they go around. They jump on people. They bite anything that moves. And the Doctor's big test is he's put above the pit of the Hoarder.
We haven't talked about this?
Huh?
We haven't talked about this?
No, actually. We skipped this. He's put above the pit of the Hoarder, and the pit's opening up, and he has to stand on it.
Pit of Hoarder.
And there's a rock that's opening up the pit, and the Doctor's been given a crossbow, and he has to shoot the string so that the rock stops opening up the pit. It went that way, right there. And there, you threw it in the Chibnall bucket. All right.
Moffat Chibnall bucket.
No, Chibnall bucket. Now,
Chibnall Moffat?
No, Moffat is nowhere near as bad as Chibnall.
Just Chibnall bucket.
Just Chibnall bucket. All right.
I'll get you a label maker for it.
So anyway, this pit has all these things that will strip the flesh off a man before he can scream. But the Doctor shoots the rope, so the rock falls, the big boulder falls, so the pit stops opening up, and he saves himself, Leela, and the guy that likes Leela that we haven't even mentioned to this point. What's his name?
Caleb?
No, not Caleb.
Oh, Tomas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Thomas and Caleb, but more
Tomas.
Caveman Tomas and Caleb.
Just
Thomas, Tomas, Caleb.
Tomas is Eastern European.
Have we talked about Leela and the Doctor's relationship? How it's historically been very avuncular and plutonic. This felt kind of flirtatious to me. How he'd smile at her and he'd be, this pit's opening and and you have the Hoarder threatening the Doctor's life, and he's kind of concerned, but then he gives a smile to Leela, and is he smiling to reassure her that he's going to be okay, or it seems kind of flirtatious in another way, and maybe that's just because Leela's very attractive, and that's how I'm
Leela's attractive, and that's how we would do it.
That's how I'm reading into it.
Well, let me think for a second.
Would you say that the Doctor is attracted to Leela, or is it more of a plutonic relationship?
Platonic. Platonic.
Plutonic relationships are from Pluto.
Platonic. No, it's platonic.
Men are from Mars.
Friends
are from Pluto.
No, the Doctor doesn't feel anything except for avuncular or a grandfatherly relationship with companions until the TV movie.
Your opinion.
No, it's in the show. Till the TV movie. In the TV movie, he kisses his companion.
Oh, which TV movie?
The 1996 Doctor Who TV movie.
We watched one of the TV movies.
No, we watched the theatrical movies.
Oh, those didn't come out on TV?
No, they were in the, well, they may have been shown on TV, but they were in the theater.
So the
You're talking about
1996
the
one
movies.
was TV only and didn't come out theatrically?
Yes,
Okay.
Fox broadcast here in the States. Okay, what's your next question?
We talked about how Leela didn't really seem affected by the death of her father, and I thought that was strange, but you made a very good point that it was probably just, a very hard life. They're used
There's
to
a
the
lot of
concept
death in their tribe, yeah.
We talked
A
about
lot of death.
jelly babies and how he threatened to kill someone with the jelly.
Yes, that was awesome.
Did we talk about Gillette? We're not talking about Gillette. We talked about how oddly convenient it was for the bioanalyzer to be there to cure Leela. And why was there a bioanalyzer?
We didn't talk about that, but that is
which
true.
was also a communication machine. Which makes sense because they had a survey team surveying a new planet. They would probably have a bioanalyzer at their
and
base.
with cures, and they would have a communication device.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Everything does make sense in context.
When you had your own...
Hmm?
We talked about Leela and Futurama, right?
Briefly.
They mentioned Daleks, I think twice in the serial.
Well, he says
the
something
doctor
is
says
dead as a Dalek.
Dead as a Dalek, meaning emotionally dead.
Yeah.
Is there one voice actor for the Daleks, or do they just use whoever and put a voice filter on it? Is there the same voice actor that does all the Dalek voices?
Okay, very originally in the early 60s, there were a couple of voice actors for the Daleks. But eventually there became one guy who did all the voice acting for the Daleks. And he did that until...
That wasn't until later.
Well, late 60s. And then he did the voices for all the Daleks until like the 90s. Late 90s. And then he died. And when the show revived in the 2000s...
Do you think they just had a soundboard at this point to where they didn't need to record any more dialogue?
Well, yeah, but...
Exterminate.
And then in 2000 they had another guy, and now he does all the voices. But, it's a lot of it is sound synthetics,
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but what the hell brought that up?
Just the doctor mentioning the Daleks once or twice. We talked about the concepts of the very subtle themes and underlying concepts of responsibility and consequences of action.
Yes.
And the very eerie aspect of the doctor being there once before, and I forgot if I forgot, and the computers becoming self-aware. One thing I haven't asked yet is why do the Tesh wear spacesuits outside of the spaceship? Because they're both humans, derivatives of the human species. You have the tribe of the 17s who live on the planet just fine.
Right.
You have the Teshes that live in the spaceship mainly, but whenever they leave the spaceship, they wear spacesuits. But why? Are their bodies not acclimated to the atmosphere or something? Why do they wear spacesuits outside of the spaceship?
It's probably a combination of lack of knowledge and tradition.
That makes sense. I had a question about why did Zion and Zianan open the barrier for the savages, but they kind of answered that he's intentionally pitting them against each other.
Yeah. I thought that was actually really cool. I like that setup. Is really nice.
Artificially
combat them against each other.
What do you call that?
Prodding
conflict for faster development of...
Yeah. I do like that. That was interesting. Like I said, very good serial. Very good serial.
Whether you like it or not. Who am I? We talked about how the Doctor pretty much played his own antagonist in this episode, because without the Doctor's influence, there wasn't really an antagonist in this.
Right, but it was yes and it was no.
And then we talked about basically Leela said, "Take me with you," and the Doctor said, "Why?" And kind of the struggle, the internal struggles of the Doctor not wanting to put her at risk,
but her wanting to go with him.
Right. Yeah. And that's about all my questions. That's all I wrote down. Good answers. I like every question I have. You have such a basic, simple answer.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm like, why is this? And you're like, well, obviously because of this. And I'm like, oh, that's a really good point.
All right. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Next Monday is St. Valentine's Day, so I've got to spend with the wife.
Day.
Happy St. Valentine's Day. So we'll see you 2 weeks from today on the 21st or 22nd, depending on when you see this.
Happy St. Henry's Day.
St.
St.
Valentine's Day.
Your birthday? We should call your birthday St. Henry's Day.
What? My birthday is September 19th. And I'm not a saint.
You are a saint.
Well,
saints,
I'm a saint in the fact that I'm saved by the Lord, yeah, but that's it. I'm not canonized by the Catholic Church. I haven't performed 2 miracles.
Different definitions.
Yeah, saint, yeah.
I didn't know you needed to perform 2 miracles to be a saint.
No, to be canonized by the Catholic Church.
They call Saint Teresa a saint. Did she perform miracles?
Supposedly she performed 2 miracles and she was canonized, yeah. No,
So what about those holy roller priests on the Sunday telethon raising evangelistic? They're curing people's cancer, knocking over people with the Holy Spirit.
Right. What about them?
Are those are they saints? They seem to be performing a lot of miracles on TV with they hit people with their jacket.
I don't know. That would have to be taken on a case-by-case basis, but I kind of doubt most of them.
I feel like if you read the Book of Acts, you might have your speculations.
If you read Revelations, a lot of that's going to happen in the end days.
By
the way, we're both believers, if you haven't figured that out by now.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
I do like to play devil's advocate.
You're still a believer.
I'm
still a believer.
There's a reason I read my Bible. Abraham Lincoln said a thorough knowledge of the Bible is more valuable than any college education. And I agree with that.
I didn't know that, but cool.
You did say that. I think our religious foundation is more important than any other curriculum.
All right.
You can be homeless and happy as long as you have joy.
Agreed.
The greatest reasons to have joy.
And eventually that might be the case for us. Right. So we will see you in 2 weeks.
It's hopeful and dark at the same time.
Yay! Yay! We'll see you in 2 weeks. Happy St. Valentine's Day.
I'm sad. I'm happy when it rains because I remember how happy it makes me when the sun is.
There is truth to that. There is truth to that.
Rains because you're sad. You ever watch Men in Black 2? Men in Black 1? It rains because you're... Everyone's sad when it rains. It rains because you're sad.
I don't remember what movie that was from, but yeah.
Men in Black.
Well,
first or second. First one, I think.
Alright, you moved.
Second one. This is the second one.
Knight to King Bishop 3?
I moved Pawn
no. Pawn to King Knight 3.
I don't know what the squares are called, but I moved the next to rightmost knight, pawn up one.
Pawn to King Knight 3.
We're playing chess. I want to pan down a short chessboard.
No. It's more fun with the numbers. And what are you doing? No, stop that. Just turn it off. Just turn it.
Let's show this game we're playing.
Oh.
You have anything
Bye. See you next week. Turn the thing off. What are you doing?